Denny Smith for WIBC. Joining me here in my own basement is Kirk Smith. He's not related to me, but I've accepted him as a distant cousin. All right, so we have a water softener, which is the last thing that we treat with. We have an iron filter. Down here, we have what's known as a UV tube. We talked about bacteria earlier, and I worry about my grandkids coming over, and of course we're on old farm ground, and who knows what type of pesticides and herbicides that I might have down in the ground. Well's about 120 feet. A little bit later we'll talk to George from C&J about what that would bring to us. But we decided to put in a UV light. Explain to me how that works.
Yeah, so basically it's an ultraviolet lamp that resides in this stainless steel shroud here. And as water passes around the lamp, it will disinfect your water, coliform bacteria, cryptosporidia. So what the lamp does, basically, it deactivates the DNA portion of the bacteria and renders it useless.
What, does it blow it up? What does it do?
It's UV, so it's like a X-ray machine on steroids, if you will. So it's going to kill pathogens that are in the water.
All right, so the bulb, of course, this is my extra bulb. This little thin bulb's got 4 prongs on the end. About every year, I will remove that cap, and the nice thing is, if I'm just changing the bulb, I don't create a flood by that, but we've got that in there. You taught me something that I didn't know. You like to go vertical rather than horizontal. I think I could have gotten vertical in here because I was doing my own plumbing at the time. Tell me why we would want to go vertical with a UV light.
I think you get better coverage. It's been proven if there's any kind of a pocket of air or anything like that, water likes to sink. Even though it's static, everybody's going vertical right now. Everybody's going vertical.
You just did that to embarrass me here.
No, I didn't.
In public.
I promise.
All right, so once a year we need to change the bulb. Why do we change the bulb?
So the bulb, like a fluorescent light, it loses its intensity. So the frequency that it puts out is called millijoules. So as the lamp gets older, it puts out less millijoules.
A joule is a measure of intensity or a measure of energy.
That's correct.
Se. All right.
So the manufacturers recommend that you change those every 12 months.
There you go. When we cut open the end, we'll show them what it looks like. So every 12 months. Now, there is a quartz sleeve that surrounds that. In fact, I should be able to pull that out here so Jackson can see it.
So what we don't want to do is get our finger oils on this lamp.
Right. So here's what the light looks like. Now, we don't want you to be looking at that because that's ultraviolet, but and then what we do is it's just got 4 prongs once a year. I always do it on Christmas Day because as you get to be a grandparent, you probably see the kids at a different time besides Christmas Day. So this is when I do my water quality, is on Christmas Day. I'll start with the RO filters. We haven't talked about RO.
So here's the lamp.
There you go.
And the lamp fits inside a quartz sleeve. So we want to make sure that we have really good treated water because the UV is kind of the last part where it goes to your house. So we want to make sure we have really good, soft water, iron-free water, manganese-free water, so it doesn't stain that sleeve. Because if it does stain the sleeve, then it can't project out into the water stream.
Now, I'm always wearing cloth gloves, and you taught me long ago that we want to grab it by
Correct.
the end, and just be really ginger as you put it in this little hole as we replace it. But we do that once a year now.
Yep.
That's a good deal.
Yep, UVs have been around for a very long time in the medical field, and it's getting more popular.
All right, so we're dealing with bacteria. We're dealing with iron and a little bit of H2S, hydrogen sulfide gas. Then we go into the water softener, but maybe we still don't want to drink this water.
Well, think of these items as utility water. Keeps the iron out of your water, softens your water, allows soaps to do the jobs soaps are supposed to do. This is for consumption.
Reverse osmosis. And reverse osmosis, yours is different, and I like yours because it's nice and simple. We got 4 cartridges. We always have the reverse osmosis membrane, and for those of you who don't know what this is, this started off with kidney dialysis. And the plumber, the story is that a plumber found out that one of his relatives was having kidney dialysis, and they explained the process to him, and he said, hey, I like that because with an osmotic membrane, I can purify water. And so the reverse osmosis was just the good fortune of a plumber whose one of his relatives was having kidney failure.
Yeah.
So take it from there. As we go through this, what are we trying to do, Kirk?
So on this particular model, we have pre-sediment like 5 micron. Then if you have chlorine in your water, that's activated carbon. Then basically it goes through the membrane, from the membrane to a mineral filter, which adds pH. Because we know when we start removing dissolved solids from the water, the pH tends to trend a little on the acidic side. Not that it's going to affect our bodies or anything like that, but some people prefer to add minerals, like spring water. Like if you go, you have a choice when you buy water at the store, you know, like Kroger, it has mineral water, which is spring water, and then it has pure water, which is this water.
And if you haven't heard the old wives' tale, any man over the age of 50 has a prostate that's going to give him challenges in his life. I say that right. There's a lot of research now about higher pH water that's going into the alkaline scale that's supposed to be really, really good for those type of issues. And I'm sure you're a young man and you don't have those issues. But when you talk about high pH water, a lot of medical folks are talking about that for consumption too. And then taste and odor, just
yeah, taste and odor basically, because we're running from this system here, and then we're filling our basically our pressure tank. So before we go to faucets and ice makers, we pull it back through a polishing filter.
So this is interesting. I have my ice makers, I have my kitchen sink, and then downstairs I also have reverse osmosis here because I'm treating water. I'm working with some folks on some experiments, and they wanted RO water. So the little bitty tanks are good enough for underneath the sink, but I wanted a little bit larger. So people can go to whatever size tank they want. This is just the pressure source.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if you use a lot of water all at once, that's a good idea to opt for a larger tank. But we hardly ever use them simply because the way these ROs recover, they're very quick. I mean, back in the day when I started 40 years ago, it took a half a day to make 2 gallons of water.
It did.
Yeah.
Now, explain to me the permeate pump, because I've had to replace this permeate pump. It failed. You're saying that with the current technology, you can get by without permeate pumps.
You can, basically. The way they fill very rapidly, we hardly ever use them. If we do need to use one, we'll use a delivery pump by Procon that delivers water to multiple locations.
The idea behind this is, of course, that you want to increase the pressure to force more water across the osmotic membrane. This one came with it, and of course when it failed, I noticed that I wasn't getting the throughput. So what's the plumber do? He finds the part that fails and replaces
Exactly.
it. That's what he did.
Exactly. Yeah, that just simply pushes more water, like you said, and it makes more water.